last week's video, we explored colour toning in Nik Collection Silver Efex. This week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this image here and I'm going to take it in Nik Collection Silver Efex. And I want to create sort of a grungy, vintage, black and white look to this image, as it is a collection of some of my favourite vintage kitchen props. So there's willow baked tins and old scales, there's old rolling pins and other bits and pieces. So I want to make this a very vintage look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit in Nik Silver Efex, and this is Nik 8. Now, of course, I can just come and play with the presets, and that's fine. There's loads of different presets here. You can look through all of them. Or you can come into filters, and this is where I want to have a little bit of fun. So there's film grain branded, and there's original ones, and you can play with a whole heap there. I'm just going to click on the original one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to the right hand side to my film types, and I'm going to have a look at some of those. Now, I really do like this one, so I'm going to click on that and I'm going to leave that there. So next, what I can do is I can come and have a look at color adjustments. Again, I'm going to click on neutral, and I can then come in and I can edit these myself. So these are the color channels within that image. So you've got yellows and you've got cyans. You've got all the different color channels there, and you can edit them as you wish. Perhaps I want to add some grain. Something like the Agfa 200. That looks pretty good. Of course, I can then play with the color filters and things like that. There's basic adjustments, so I can come in and I can play with some of these low contrast or high contrast, etc. Or I can add in just the neutral and play with it from there. So I can amplify the whites. I don't want to amplify the blacks too much because I like that sort of vintage look. Not too much on the contrast. I do want to maybe boost the structure a little bit. Okay, bring the highlights up, bring the shadows down. Selective tones again, adding that in. Bring the highlights down. So I can bring color toning into this now. So there's neutral, or you've got split tones, so you could do that. Or you could go for something like a selenium or blue tones, cyanotype, and there's different strengths, coffee, copper, sepia, which is what I was looking for. So you can adjust those, you can adjust the strength, have just a little, just a lot. You can adjust your silver hue within that and your silver toning within that. And you can play around with that. Now, there is burnt edges. You can have burnt edges off, or you can quite like that soft one. There is vignettes that you can do. So you can actually have like a lens fall off or a black or white frame fall off. Might leave that lens vignette 2 there. And then, of course, you also have image borders. If you want to put a border on here, you can do that. Not necessarily something that I want to put on there, so I'm just going to turn that one off. You can turn them off by clicking on the little orange strip here, or you can turn them on and off in here or remove it from there. So you can play around with all of that sort of thing. If you want to go and have a look at some of the presets, of course, you're more than welcome to do that, especially if you want to do something sort of specific that you may have saved in the past. So this one, for instance, is one that I have previously used as well. So just clicking undo takes me back to where I am here. So this is the color image, and this is the final black and white image that I have done. So I have saved it non-destructive, which means that if I decide in the future that I want to come back into Nik Silver Efex and edit my filters as I have here, I can do that from within Lightroom. Of course, if you don't want to edit or save it as non-destructive, you can just turn that off and save it as a preset, or just hit apply and come back into Lightroom. So that is my finished image there in Lightroom. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. A little bit shorter than last week. There's not quite as much in Silver Efex as there is in Color Efex with filters, but you can still make some very, very emotive and dramatic images. And don't forget, you can go into local adjustments, not just global adjustments as well. So that's it for this week's video, and perhaps next week I will have a little walk through using Nik Collection Silver Efex for you. Thanks for watching. Bye.